Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader, and let's review our risk disclosure here. But before we do, let me make a couple of announcements or some notifications to my audience here that I am now live. All right. So we'll go through our risk disclosure here just to remind everyone that the content is being distributed and shared by the market trader is to be used as general information only. None of the information by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information is to be used at your own risk, and the company's partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It is not for every investor. An investor could lose potentially all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, we're going to kind of turn our attention over to the news here to see what we have in the news front that could potentially impact the markets here. Okay, so let's see, the biggest item I would say is the tariff deadline, but as far as I know, that deadline has been delayed or deferred to a future month. But we have a number of items here. We have the Fed initiation expectations here at 11 a.m. We have the EIA STAO report coming in at noon Eastern time. Then we have a couple of note yield announcements coming in at 1 p.m. and then consumer credit coming in at 3 p.m. Okay. So again, relatively, I would say relatively light in the way of news. I think some of the bigger ticket items are coming in later in the week, such as tomorrow we have the EIA report. We have FOMC, which should and has a potential of moving the markets. And then we later in the week we have the U.S. Jobless claims, which is also another market mover. Okay. So now that we have a feel for the news, we can go ahead and turn our attention to the markets here. We're going to go ahead and open up our charting platform. Okay, hopefully it's visible to everyone here. I believe it is. Let's double confirm that. Yeah. Okay. So again, we'll take a look at we'll start off with the gold market. We'll start off with the daily chart. And again, we continue to be in this consolidation pattern here. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of these drawings. You can see here, while yesterday's trading showed some promise that maybe we would be moving, maybe possibly to the upside, right? We had a day with a hammer candle that has been met with a bearish candle. So maybe given the indications that maybe we're going to head higher, there's a fair number of sellers that have kind of stepped into this market. Okay. So market remains in some sort of consolidation pattern with a bearish candle developing for the day. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. We're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance here. Again, we can see that the market has a fair number of folks that are on the short side here. Okay, you know, we made a push lower here for London. Okay, and now we are in some sort of range, a half hour into the open of the market. Okay, we have kind of a developing bullish candle, but not an overly strong one here. Okay, on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so market does appear to be in some sort of consolidation, possibly a retracement of sorts. Maybe you could, if you look at this, it does appear maybe that this might be some sort of reverse head and shoulder pattern, possibly. This being the head, this being the right shoulder, this being the left shoulder, but it does appear to be a bit extended here. Okay, so the march or the effect of this pattern should have probably manifested itself already. Okay, and caused us to maybe potentially head higher. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and actually, this pattern actually created a bearish reaction. Okay. And now we seem to be in some sort of bearish structure at the moment here on the 4-hour. Looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see that we are developing a bearish candle here. Okay, so indicating that there's still a fair amount of interest here to the downside in this market. We do see that price is below our settlement price, below our VWAP, and creating a rather significant bearish candle here. Okay. We're going to go ahead now and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and take a look here and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, so we're going to go ahead back here. We'll drag this across to the close here. Okay, you can see that price has managed to get back inside value. Okay, so we were hovering above, right, here, even after the close of the day, okay, of the session. Rallied a little bit in Asia, okay, leading up to London, or maybe remained kind of in range bound. And looks like London has taken the market short. Okay, so if I add my anchored VWAP to this discussion, you can see that the anchored VWAP is showing that there's a fair amount of sellers in this market. Okay, now we've reached the ASR zone here. I'm not sure this is London. Let's make sure. Okay, yeah, it is London. So we've reached the ASR zone. We've gotten a little bit of reaction away from the statistical area, but again, we were met with sellers. Okay, so right now we are establishing the initial balance range. Okay, up against an area that could and in all likelihood could provide maybe a bounce. Okay. A bounce in this area. This, I would say, this 30-30 level, which is a level that I was kind of tracking yesterday as well. This 30-30 level could provide us a location for a reversal in price. Okay. Now, if we do manage to close below 30-30, then I think it opens us up to maybe the possibility that we can maybe rotate all the way down to 33.15. Okay, that's not out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay. So right now, I would say, given that we are, I guess, starting the day rather bearish, I would say that we are heading into the session a bit on the bearish side in this market. Okay. All right. So a bit on the bearish side in this market, I would say. Okay. So let's go ahead now and turn our attention to the crude oil market. Okay, so we're going to modify this to crude oil. All right, we're going to go ahead and start off with a daily chart. Okay, and you can see here that we are trying to muster some momentum to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of my drawings here. We are trying to muster some sort of momentum here to the upside in this market. Okay, we are on the upper end of this rather strong bullish candle that we had in yesterday's session, and we've opened the day with a candle on the upper third or upper fifth of the range. Okay, so now the question becomes: are we going to continue? Are we going to continue that range? Are we going to continue to provide some upside to this market? Okay. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, let's see what the 4-hour chart is telling us. 4-hour chart. We're going to go ahead and remove our drawings here for a moment. Turn off initial balance here for a moment. and take a look and see what the market is trying to accomplish here. Okay, so you can see that the market did manage to break some structure here to the left. Okay, now it appears that we might be in some sort of retracement for the possibility of another leg higher. Okay, now obviously we need to get above 68.35, right, in order to make a new another higher high. Okay, so the question now becomes is do we have that in the cards? Okay, or is this 68.35 level going to serve as some sort of area of resistance? Right now, I feel that the market is kind of sloping here to the upside. Okay, kind of providing maybe a little bit of indication that maybe the market is looking to head higher. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Right, we are on the upper end of the statistical range. We've gotten to the settlement price here from yesterday, and that has kind of been met with some selling. Right, so we're going to go ahead now and open up our fixed range volume profile. Okay, and take a look and see what the where the market is in relation to yesterday's pricing. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and close this off right about here. Okay, and you can see that we spent at least a portion of the overnight session, okay, above value, but looks like as we head at the open here, looks like, or actually we already open, looks like we found some sellers here up against the settlement price. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and open up my my initial balance, right? So again, this is giving us an indication that we might have found maybe a little bit of a temporary top. Okay, we were starting to show some signs that maybe we were breaking some structure here, but we were unable to get above 68. Okay, so since we are not able to get above 68, and now we have this bearish candle, I would say the path of least resistance in this market appears to be to the downside. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Nasdaq. Okay. Look at the Nasdaq, and we'll start off with a daily chart. Okay, yesterday was relatively bearish, I would say, in general. Okay, but that bearish day, okay, it was relatively bearish, but now today looks like that selling was used as an opportunity to maybe for some buyers to again step back into this market. Okay, so you can see that we have a developing bullish candle in an otherwise structure that still continues to show us that there is some strength in this market. Okay, so daily is looking, especially given the fact that we have this this bullish candle here in the end, we do remain in bullish structure. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance. We're still about 15 minutes away from the, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. All right. So you can see that we are continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. I would say that maybe of late that the momentum to the upside has been a little bit more labored. Okay. A little bit requiring a little bit more effort to continue higher. Okay. But the fact is that we continue to grind to the upside. Okay. Each one of these pullbacks is very symmetrical, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 11 before we started to show continue in our move. Okay, so we have a developing bullish engulfing candle. Okay, engulfing the body of this candle. We did get a little bit of a rejection candle up above here, so there are signs here that this 23,000 level continues to be a resistant level. Okay, this area above this continues to show signs that this area is continuing to show resistance. Now, the bulls tried to get back to that 23,000 level, and they were immediately met with some sellers. But the buyers have not given up on that possibility as of yet. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. I always like to take a look at what the prior session provided here. We're going to go ahead and move down to the 30-minute chart and get a sense for what price is doing. Okay, and where price is in relation to yesterday's session. You can see that I've drawn in my resistance area here around 23,000. Okay, that continues to be an area of resistance that I'm going to continue to be tracking. I am seeing some signs here of late. Okay, looking at this structure here, this does appear to be somewhat of a bullish structure of late here. Let's see if I can locate my there it is, my arrow here. Okay, so we got a push higher, then a pullback, a rally. Okay, now we are in some sort of consolidation period. So I think they're probably, if this is not the end of this swing, okay, obviously there is some resistance above us, but it does not appear that there is the swing to the upside has ended. Okay, we remain above VWAP. Okay, we have some signs here that we have some buying wicks below. Okay, so there are still some signs here that the market wants to head higher. Now we are seeing, okay, similar to what we were seeing in the 4-hour, we are seeing some indications here that this area here, okay, is bearish, right? This 22,950 level seems to be met with sellers. Okay, now if we cannot get above, let's say 29. Let's say 22,970, then maybe there is another leg. Okay, maybe there is another leg to the downside. There are, I see here with the wicks that the buyers are trying to drive price higher. And I do see that we are above settlement and we're above VWAP. So all indications are that with the open of the session that we're going to continue higher. Okay. But the fact that we are unable to get above this area of 29, let's say as low as 22,950, as high as 22,970, that is maybe giving me some concern that the market does not have the participants necessary to drive price higher. Okay, and that we could potentially drive lower. Okay, all right. Let's take a look and see what the anchor VWAP is telling us. Actually, I wanted to do the fixed range volume profile. Let's do that first, and then we'll do our anchor VWAP. Okay, we're going to go ahead and locate our start of the session into our close of the session here. Okay, so you can see right now we are at the upper end of value. Okay, right at the edge of value. Okay, so we could easily quickly accept value from the prior day and rotate all the way down to the bottom. Okay, or we could hold above, okay, and maybe there's another leg in store for this market, okay. If we do continue to hold inside value, okay, and we exhaust maybe some of these buyers, I don't see why there's any reason that we can't rotate, right? Rotate back to the lows of the session, maybe as low as 22,865 or 863, according to the ASR tool, okay. So right now, I would say that I'm bullish, but I am concerned that we have not been able to make any new highs of late. Okay, and the longer that we are not able to make any new highs, I think that opens the door for the possibility of price hitting lower. Okay, all right. Let's open up the ES here. Okay, let's take a look what the ES is giving us. Again, we'll take a look at the daily chart. Okay, daily chart again, similar to what we had, the comment that I made. You know, we had some indications that maybe the market was going to reverse here. Okay, so far what it appears like it maybe used this as an opportunity. Okay, it's kind of buy the dip, kind of thing, because the market remains very much in bullish structure. Okay, so nothing's really kind of changed with the story here on the daily chart. Moving down to the 4-hour chart. Okay, we're looking at the 4-hour chart again. We are seeing a little bit of signs. We're seeing a little bit of structure that indicates that maybe the market is going to head lower. We have our settlement price here up above here. Okay, price has moved away from it, came back to it, was not able to get above it, and now we are kind of inside this bearish candle. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, okay, right now it feels like that. Maybe the market wants to continue lower. Okay, we really need to see. Okay, but we haven't had of late here on the 4-hour chart is a new high. Okay, so as long as we don't have a new high, well, I do see that we are consolidating. So there is a little bit of indecision here as to which direction they want to take the market. And of late, it does appear that maybe they want to take the market lower. Okay. All right. Let's open up the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the 30-minute chart has to say and offer us here. Now, well, we were just talking about that on the. We see that price. This does appear a bit stronger. I'd have to go back and double check this, but let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. Let's open up the start of the U.S. session here to the close of the U.S. session here. Okay, there we are. So we are very much inside value from yesterday. The NASDAQ was hovering up at the upper end of value, okay, kind of flirting with the high end of value. So again, although we are above VWAP, kind of giving us an indication that maybe price wants to continue higher, we have to understand the overall structure here remains lower, right? If I draw a line here from the top, right, trend line, well, this trend line is going to be to the downside, okay? We haven't really broken any structure to indicate that maybe we are going to continue higher. So as long as we respect this trend line, I would say that we have to respect that and look for opportunities to the downside. Now, we do have a couple of pieces here that indicate that maybe there is still some bullish price action going on, right? We're above settlement, we're above VWAP, but not overly so, right? There is some weakness here, right? We're not seeing price drive or continue to drive to the downside. On the contrary, we're seeing price kind of lose a little bit of momentum up against a known trend line where we've sold off in the past. So it'll be interesting to me how we open and whether the market does indeed continue its potentially continue lower. Okay. We're going to go ahead and open up Anchor VWAP here just to get a sense for where London is in all of this. Okay, and London right now seems to be bullish on the market. So we have our daily VWAP is also bullish. So again, as long as we remain above these two indications, then yes. But we have not seen any new highs in the market. Okay, will we get? I'm assuming we'll get some, at least a test above. Okay, this trend line. The question is this trend line going to hold? Right? Is this trend line going to hold and offer us maybe an opportunity to the downside, or obviously we get a new high, hold above high with some volume, and then we make our trek maybe back to some of these highs that we had here on Monday. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow here. Again, we'll start to look at the daily chart here again. Okay, taking a look here. We see that we're getting or developing a bullish candle here. Now, out of all the candles that we've seen so far, okay, this is the weakest, right? Because it does appear that we had a gap open to the downside. Okay, let's go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. Okay, so while the market still remains bullish, okay, we had a bearish close yesterday. We have a developing bullish candle, but it opened on the bottom end, or even lower than the close. Okay, so of the three equity markets, okay, while it does remain bullish, it does appear to be the weakest. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the 4-hour chart. So you can see here we got a rather strong bearish candle here. I don't know, maybe this is maybe a result of some sort of news here during the London session. And now we're hovering at the lower end of that swing. Okay, we're kind of almost appearing as kind of a little bit of a retracement again, for maybe the possibility of another leg lower. Okay, this candle here, this 4-hour candle here, broke the hope of a lot of buyers here. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. We're going to go ahead and you can see here that we're below our settlement price, barely hanging. We're also even below our day. I was going to say we're barely hanging above our VWAP. That's not the case. We are below VWAP. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. Okay, fixed range volume profile. we're going to go ahead and start here and drag that across to the close of the session here. So much like the other equity markets, we are well within side value, okay, indicating that we could potentially see some range price action in the market today. Now, if you recall, the Dow was, I mean, not the Dow, the NASDAQ was on the upper end of the range. The ES was slightly inside the range, and the Dow is further inside the range. Okay, so of the three equity markets, I would say that the Dow is showing the most weakness. Okay, let's take one peek here at the anchor VWAP. Let's see where London has taken this, and London is also appears to be rather bearish on this market as well. Now, like I said, if we do manage to kind of change the tide here and get above some of this structure, if we can get above 44,675 and ultimately above 44,700, this market could easily turn into a market that could maybe revisit some of these highs from yesterday. But right now, it feels heavy, right? Every attempt that we've had to move to the upside has been met with some sellers, okay? So right now, I would say the path of least resistance continues to be lower, okay? So let's summarize. Let's go across the markets here. Let's summarize kind of where we stand across all these markets, okay? So again, looking at the gold market, the gold market was in a I would say that we have a fair number of bulls in this market. We've come down to an area where we could potentially find some buyers here. Here at the 3330 level, I would say that is an important level for the gold market. Right now, we seem to be in some sort of consolidation range. I'm going to go ahead and open up the initial balance. Okay, so the initial balance is showing some signs that maybe buyers have begun to step in to this market. Okay, so again, if we can get price above settlement, above some of this structure, that could open up the door for maybe price to maybe reach the highs here around 33.55 and potentially the high of ASR. Okay, looking at the crude oil market. Crude oil market again, we got to the 68 level. The 68 level has appeared to be an area of some resistance. So we're getting some reversal or some sellers stepping into this market here up against the settlement price. Okay, so kind of the beginnings of maybe a double top. So I would say that either we are in range or looking bearish in the crude oil. Okay, taking a look at the NASDAQ one final time here, but now when the market is officially opened here. Okay, so you can see here that we are seeing some structure. Okay, either some consolidating, right? Market is still kind of trying to decide which direction they want to take this. With FOMC tomorrow, it would not be out of the realm of possibility here that we remain in range on the market unless there's some sort of leaked information that would indicate to some of these participants where to take price. Okay, right now we're seeing a lot of indecision in this market. Okay, starting with the overnight, starting into London, we're seeing wicks on both ends of these candles. So if we are going to maintain this apparent bullish structure, we need to stay above VWAP. Okay, if we cannot stay above VWAP, then I would say that we are headed for another leg lower in the NASDAQ. Looking at the ES, okay, looking at the ES, I would say a similar view. Okay, settlement in this case is actually below us. Okay, NASDAQ, we had settlement above us. Okay, giving us an indication that maybe price was going to head lower. Again, if we do manage to hold here against the settlement price and we start to break some structure to the upside, then maybe we see maybe another potential leg to the upside. If price begins to break below settlement, below VWAP, and we start to get maybe some volume coming in this direction, then I would say that that we could see another leg lower in this market. We have some markers here at 62, 67 as a reasonable target, and maybe back to the lows of the day here around 62.50. Okay, so it'll be interesting over the course of the next couple 30-minute candles as to exactly which direction they end up taking this market. Okay, looking at the Dow one last time. Again, we're seeing the same kind of action. I would say that the ES and the Dow are probably the weakest. Well, I would say weakest. NASDAQ and the Dow as far as the weakest, given because of the fact that we are below settlement price. Okay, the Dow, not the Dow, the ES appears to be above settlement price. So again, giving us some indication that maybe there is some additional bullish price action in store. We see a fair number of sellers have stepped into this market, but has not really translated, okay, in some bearish price action just yet, right? We actually are seeing some bullish price action, okay? So either we're getting a lot of shorts, kind of closing out positions, or we're getting or we're getting some additional participation here to the downside, okay? So in any case, the market does appear to be bearish, okay? So with that, guys, we'll go ahead and close out the session here. Again, I would say across the board, I would say certainly the crude oil and the equities do appear to be rather bearish. I'm going to take one last peek at the gold here, and the gold also appears to be in some sort of kind of consolidation pattern in an area where we could potentially see a reversal in price, but we're also seeing some bearish price action in gold as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the session as we close all sessions today. So trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, and don't be afraid to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button if you want to be alerted to these kind of sessions going forward. Okay, have an excellent day trading, and we'll talk again soon.